You've probably heard that Camp Century was a lost city under the ice, forgotten for 50 years until NASA stumbled on it. That's a great story. It's also wrong. Nobody lost it. The exact coordinates were public the whole time. What everyone actually forgot was what the Americans left behind down there. And that part is still sitting under the ice right now. Start with the boring truth. In 1959, U.S. Army engineers cut a trench network into the Greenland ice sheet about 240 kilometers inland from Thule Air Base. They didn't dig down and hollow out caves. They carved open trenches with snow blowers, roofed them with steel arches, and let blowing snow bury the whole thing naturally within weeks. The scale is what makes it sound mythical. Roughly 3 kilometers of connected tunnels, 21 of them. Enough room for around 200 soldiers to live full-time, with dormitories, a mess hall, a chapel, a barber shop, a library, and a small hospital. And the power source was genuinely unprecedented. A portable nuclear reactor, the PM-2A, was shipped up in pieces and assembled inside the ice. It was the first mobile nuclear plant ever deployed in the field. It ran the lights, the machine shops, and melted the ice for drinking water. Publicly, the Army called it an Arctic research station and made a cheerful film about it. Boy Scouts even visited. That part was real, but it was also cover. Underneath sat Project Iceworm. The plan was to expand the trenches into a 4,000-kilometer rail grid holding 600 ballistic missiles, shuttling them between thousands of launch bays so Soviet targeteers could never know where any single warhead was. A shell game played with nuclear weapons under an ice sheet. Here's the detail that killed it, and it's not political. Ice is not rock. It flows. Within 2 years, the tunnel walls were visibly closing in, and crews had to shave the ceilings and walls constantly just to keep the corridors open. The reactor room deformed. The whole base was slowly being crushed. By 1964, the reactor was pulled out. By 1967, the base was abandoned entirely. The Army left with a written assumption that snowfall would bury everything forever and the waste would be entombed permanently. That assumption was the real mistake. What stayed behind? An estimated 200,000 liters of diesel fuel, thousands of cubic meters of wastewater, including sewage, low-level radioactive coolant water, and PCBs, industrial chemicals used in the paints and coatings. All of it now under roughly 30 meters of ice. Denmark and Greenland were never told about the missile plan. Greenlanders learned decades later that a nuclear-powered military project had operated on their island and left contaminants there. That political wound has never fully closed. Now the myth-busting on NASA. In April 2024, a Gulfstream 3 flying an experimental radar over the ice sheet did image Camp Century. But scientists had already mapped it repeatedly, and a 2016 climate study had specifically modeled the waste site. What was new was the picture. The radar returned a startlingly clear map of individual tunnels, not a fuzzy blob. Why does anyone care about a Cold War trash pit? Because of one number. That 2016 study concluded that under high-emission warming, Greenland's northwest ice could shift from net accumulation to net melt before 2100, meaning the ice that was supposed to bury the site forever starts removing itself instead. And meltwater doesn't stay put. It runs off the ice sheet into the sea. Nobody has agreed on who would pay to clean it up, the United States that built it, the Denmark that permitted it, or the Greenland that now governs the land it sits on. So the real story isn't a hidden city rediscovered. It's a generation of very smart engineers who solved an impossible construction problem and then made one quiet assumption, that the environment they were building in would never change. Every part of Camp Century worked except that. It's a strangely modern problem. We are still burying things, waste, emissions, decisions, on the assumption that the future looks like the present. Camp Century is just the version where you can see the deadline in the ice. If you want more stories where the myth is smaller than the truth, subscribe. And tell me in the comments, should the US be required to go back and dig it out? Or is that now impossible? I read every reply.